Param Puja Gondavalekar Maharaj offers us today a timeless invitation, not merely to find moments of happiness, but to become happiness itself. Maharaj doesn't talk about transient sense-based joy, but about the joy of union with God, a joy so deep that sorrow becomes impossible. This joy cannot be described, only lived. He reveals a profound truth. Pain arises from duality, the I and you, the me and mine. But when we transcend this ego and see ourselves in all creation, there is only joy. The saints live in this state even while moving through ordinary life. To reach it, Maharaj says, follow the Sadguru, repeat Nama, and live in God. This message is beautifully embodied in the life of Sant Durjati, a 16th century Telugu poet saint who saw joy not in wealth or praise, but in surrender to Lord Vishnu. Through spiritual poetry soaked in devotion, even amidst worldly poverty, Sant Durjati radiated inner bliss, the same bliss Maharaj speaks of. The joy in which a real devotee lives defies description in words. Indeed, the word joy ceases to signify anything where the very idea of pain or sorrow does not exist. That joy has to be experienced to be believed. The true devotee sees God in all creation, animate and inanimate. That is, sees himself everywhere, like a person standing in a hall of mirrors. In other words, one who is one with God, that is, with all creation, never experiences anything but joy. Sorrow or pain can only exist in plurality. A devotee may be an ordinary human to all appearances, but he lives continuously in a state of joy. That is how Saint Tukaram lived, outwardly as a common householder, and Saint Ramadas managed national matters politically. Both of them were, at heart, completely detached from the pains and failures of life, raising their followers to their own level. We common persons have never seen the path of pure joy. If we now want to walk along that path, it is evidently profitable to follow the advice, the guidance of one who has traversed that path and who, in fact, basks in that joy. In other words, implicitly follow the Sadguru, just as we meekly follow a reliable guide when we meet one along an unfamiliar way. That evidently is the easiest and safest thing to do. A person may eat salt, mistaking it for sugar. He will, nevertheless, get the taste of salt. Similarly, we erroneously imagine that worldly things lead to lasting joy, and invariably land in trouble. We imagine that the more numerous the amenities and belongings, the greater the happiness of life. This is a delusion never realized in practice. True happiness is that which is eternal, undisturbed. It rests only with God, who is himself eternal. We can become truly happy only if we live in God. Just as one has to eat sugar to obtain a sweet taste, one must repeat Nama to realize happiness. All through life we pursue the mirage of happiness, and it never becomes a reality. We strive for the wherewithals rather than for happiness itself, like spending everything for elaborations of the fencing rather than on the farm itself. We strive to obtain this, that, and the other, all of which, in the hour of final exit from the world, we have to leave behind. Sant Durjati, a revered poet saint of the Vijayanagara Empire, is most known for his heart-melting devotional poetry in praise of Lord Narasimha. His works are not just literature, they are blissful songs of surrender. Though born into a family of scholars, Durjati lived a simple, austere life and wrote not for kings or fame, but for the joy of glorifying God. In one instance, the court poets ridiculed him for writing verses filled with emotional pleas to Lord Narasimha, instead of lofty classical Sanskrit compositions. But Durjati calmly replied, I write what brings peace to my heart and praise to my Lord. What need do I have for courtly praise? In his famous prayer, he says, O Narasimha, even if I am born 100 times in poverty, let me never forget you. This is the mark of one immersed in divine bliss, indifferent to worldly recognition, rooted firmly in Nama and Bhakti. Despite the criticism and hardship, Durjati lived joyfully, knowing that to live in the awareness of God is to be untouched by sorrow, exactly as Gondavalekar Maharaj describes. Today's pravachan by Gondavalekar Maharaj is not merely a philosophical reflection, it is a clarion call to transformation. The pursuit of external joy is a mirage. The one who lives in God, with Nama on the tongue, becomes unshakably happy. The very idea of sorrow dissolves when we dissolve the idea of I and mine. Like Sant Durjati, let us not wait for the perfect world outside to be joyful. Let us step inside and live from that inner spring of bliss, which is none other than God himself. And the surest path Maharaj offers us, Namasmarana, Repeat Nama as you would breathe. Do not seek joy. Become it by becoming one with Rama. May we too follow in the footsteps of the saints, not seeking temporary pleasures, but drinking deeply from the eternal joy of surrender.